Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the multi-world champion and one of the most entertaining players in the history of the game in the blue. We have SOS. Facing off against the Italian stallion, the Zerg in red. It's Reynor in a best-of-3 Zerg versus Protoss showdown as part of the new season of the Revival Star League. And before we get started, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button, maybe even subscribe. Tell me kind of the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? Jimmy. 1,814 likes. 1,814 likes on this video, on this cast. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. And, well, hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As Reynor got his natural blocked and decided, well, two can play at that game. The moment the drone, I don't know if he planned this or if it was just a spur of the moment. I know Reynor's feelings about Protoss are strong ones and not necessarily positive, but instead of taking his own natury, he's just gonna slap one down in SOS's face. And here comes some Zerglings. He did go pool first, actually. You know what? I think this was premeditated. I didn't look at all the evidence, check all the facts. But SOS reacting immediately, and surprisingly, there's a forge on the way. And it's not aggressive, but instead a defensive cannon rush to potentially deal with this. But the Zerglings are on their way across. This is not Reynor just putting a placeholder down in order to stop SOS's expansion. This is, well, maybe killing potential. He's not trying to get in with the Zerglings. He's just going to force him to the other side, which is a more mid-term thinking move. If he takes down the gateway, there's no cannon on the way. So, a second zealot is about to complete. The hatchery is almost guaranteed to do so. He actually catches one of the zealots, but two zealots are a little bit too much to nibble easily for these Zerglings. Looking for the box out, but there's enough probes still here, and Adept is on the way. Strips away some of the shields. The hatchery is complete, and now this is happening. I don't... okay. Well, the Adept comes out, and SOS's supply blocked, but finishes a pylon in the main base just in time. The cannon's gonna complete. And the defensive cannon rush against Reynor's hatchery. So back at home, Reynor is building queens. Well, actually, no, he's not. There's one queen in production, and it's right on the screen right now. It might look like Reynor's ready to back off, but once that queen completes, he may have a chance to potentially take out the cannon. I mean, another Adept is on... Oh, God. I don't... Oh, sweet Kerrigan. Going to try to block with the creep. The Zerglings waiting, potentially at this point, for the Broodlings, which is his best chance to break through. The Broodlings come out. The Zerglings going to participate in the group activity. The Queen is locked inside the base, and indeed is locked in here with SOS. And SOS has... Well... Never cheese a cheeser. SOS, one of the greatest poker players in the history of the game. Proxy gating in a winner-take-all 100,000 tournament game 7. That is burned into my brain. I want to say I am Katowice 2013. But, Reynor. Well, okay. Now what? Oh, by the way, SOS playing on a barcode, so I thought, you know, maybe put a face to the name. Or the scanning mechanism. It endlessly annoys me when players don't bother. Now, he put it as the clan tag, but that just doesn't show up on the nameplates. So, can we just have a little bit of effort? No, he's like, I got a cannon rush real quick. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm getting back to the ladder to terrorize people. But first, the troop of Protoss is 2 zealots, it's 2 adepts, it's 1 oracle, and it's a whole lot of problems right now for Reynor. As he's at 29 drones. He has plenty of queens, as in 3 or 4. But the Oracle catches a couple of the drones and gets a couple more right as the Spore is finishing. A bit greedy and finds a 3rd. But as the prophecy foretold, the Oracle gets in and gets out in the orange HP with several drones in the unit's loss tab. The queens, well, who's flanking whom at this point? Which remains to be seen and debated whether it's grammatically correct. Oh, sure, yeah, a fleet beacon. Why not? Yeah. You know what Reynor's not going to have much of? Anti-air besides queens. So a fleet beacon is on the way. We'll never know what SOS intended to do from the jump, but now that we've taken this plunge, we'll see how deep the rabbit hole goes. Sure. Also, there's a Void Ray, which is usually a bit of a mediocre choice, but in this specific scenario where Reynor's working off of a mediocre economy and a limited amount of production. Now, there's a stasis. The creep is not all the way across, and the anti-air is just the queen. Runs right into the... Oh, no! Who could have predicted this? I don't... Shut up. One. Oh, beautiful save with the transfuse. The slow zealots that Reynor baited out on the other side of the map coming in handy here. Zergling speed is about to complete. He might be able to surround all these gateway units. So far, SOS has lost one probe, which I think was worth pointing out right before he loses everything on the ground. Well, there they go. Meanwhile, Oracle driven out of the main base. Tectonic destabilizers and Warp Gate. You know, the top 2 upgrades every Protoss needs in this economy. Tectonic destabilizers for doing literally double damage against buildings. And just against buildings. But really the only serious threat to the Tempest and just picking off drones left, right, and center. Spore Crawlers. So with Spore Crawlers being almost negated by the fact the Tempest exists, and Queens being woefully under-equipped to deal with it. Oh my. Just picks off... This is restricted lair space! And who's gonna enforce it, Brenda? I was hoping they wouldn't call me on that. I don't know. A bunch of sloaches just kind of scampering across the map. The Void Ray will find them. SOS does not have a third, nor does he show really any strong intentions of attempting one. The Zergling's gonna try to break through the wall that stuffed them before. More Tempests on the way, as... Well, gonna get through one of the pylons, depowers the cannon. How was that relevant? All right, back in my day, we didn't need to play games online. All right, back when this game came in a box. Not sure why that's relevant right now, but anyways, the Roaches and Zerglings. Meanwhile, the Tempests are doing terrible, terrible damage on the other side. The Queens are holding them for now. 5 Corruptors in production, a secondary wall. And SOS has managed to hold the door with flying colors. And now, speaking of flying colors, red and yellow on the Tempest alongside the almost near dead deep red Oracle. But despite the autumn color palette, so far getting a lot of damage done. But Reynor pops out a bunch of Corruptors. And, well, the Tempest very likely going to be knocked out of the sky. He might be able to recall one, but it's already too late to do so. Some Glaive Adepts are on the way across the map, and Reynor has 64 drones, but he has exactly 0 ground units that are not Queens. So, yeah, he's building 8 Roaches, but he's going to lose a whole lot more drones to these Adepts. And maybe some of the Queens as well. The Corruptors are headed across the map. The Adepts are going towards Reynor's base. Everybody up, down, all around. Quite a quandary of things that can hit up, hit down, or do neither of what they need. I'm even getting confused when it comes to navigating these sentences, let alone what the hell is happening in this game. Corruptors on the third, Corruptors on the main. The caustic spray split between them. The spray and pray strategy from Reynor. Some Stalkers are warped in to deal with the Corruptors in the main. Might be able to snipe off the Void Ray. Not really worth the effort. There's also a Tempest out here. Just ignore that. Okay. Well, Void Ray gets knocked down. The Corruptors will deny any attempts at further Tempests. And SOS, despite dealing with the Proxy hatch in quite a efficient fashion, seems to be in... It all comes together and falls apart simultaneously. None of it really worked out well enough. Reynor rolled with the punches, the Italian stallion. And maybe the Tempest rush on 2 base was a reach too far. But Reynor didn't get tilted. I don't know what's going on with those probes. Well, he's almost mined out of his main, so he's doing some long distance mining, but there's enough Roaches with speed. He has literally doubled the supply. And that usually would be well, usually is game ending, but in this case, because air control goes to the Zerg and ground control does as well, SOS is running out of options. The Stalkers don't even have blink, so they just have to run away themselves, which is just not going to work out. There's a single Tempest, and he knocks out a hatchery. He types 2 Gs, and Reynor will roll back around to being in the lead. Oh, well, of all the games I've ever seen, that was one of them. The Proxy hatch into counterattack, into Tempest Rush, into Corruptors, into Slow Roach Counter, into GG. Oh, there were some Glaive Adepts as well. So, all that jammed into 10 minutes. All right. Well, game 2. Reynor takes the lead, though. What a, not sure he's going to be, it's a 12 pull. I'm not sure he's going to be able to replicate. Nobody cares! And like and subscribe so I can, host my own StarCraft 2 servers and put out a balance patch that makes all overlords constantly make noises. And then, you can pay to turn it off, and that's how we're going to fund esports. Working project. Operation Overlord, we'll call it. I think that's new and original. So. No. What are you doing? Come back here. Well, 100% win rate so far. Though, I don't know if he won because of the proxy hatch or despite it. There was certainly some spite involved. Well, he has enough now. Is he gonna build it? So the probe's on his case, but SOS successfully blocks the probe as it gets that little tase off on the attack animation. 6 Zerglings on the way across, and here we go again. So, if you're SOS, do you need to handle it differently? I truly think he handled the proxy hatch fine. It was just, then he kind of wandered off the path into Mass Tempest, which was, you know, a bold move. And, you know, it might need to be italicized against Reynor. Well, the Zealots are dancing just in time, quite lit. The drones! Ah! Sorry. Ah! That's what I meant. The drones are on the way across. There's no probe to scout him because SOS thinks he has this in hand. But Reynor's just sent everything in his entire hand. Oh, he saw it. He saw it. Yeah, no. You're not playing footsies anymore. All the probes are pulled. Here we go. Everyone's inside the house. He's going to try to kill the Zealots as soon as possible. There's an Adept on the way, which will certainly help things. The cannon's halfway done. The pylons are bounding the hatchery. Gets off a shot. More Zerglings on the way. The Adept is actually kind of walled in. The Zealots get their back to the hatchery of the gateway. Some mineral walking. The drone's out in front. Zerglings getting a lot of damage. One of the Zealots jammed into the corner. But the cannon completes! The cannon completes! And the Adept is still alive, which gives him some ranged potential. He didn't take out the pylon powering the gateway. And Reynor might have killed 7 probes to just 5 drones. But it's going to be a long road home. And a very unlikely one for Reynor to start modding. GG! Wow. Reynor tried to force the issue, and SOS was more than up to the task. I guess we're speedrunning this entire series. Well, game 2 down. We're all tied up, going to match point. Can we get 1 minute? Just do a drone rush at this point. The drone rush... Well, in the last game, I'm not even sure if it would have worked better, but was certainly one of the calls you can make. Reynor has made it quite clear his feelings on late game, Zerg versus Protoss, and how he feels very bad whenever you get into that scenario. Though, I did not expect quite a focus. Well, anyway, game 3. Old Republic. Reynor has built any drones at the beginning of the game. Which, you know, is something. And this time, SOS is like, I'm just, you know how you could, wait, okay. Okay, there's a lot going on. And also so little. The a lot going on is the so little. Just so I can sound clever. SOS did not probe scout, but he's building a gateway at his main. And this is a hard counter to early pull. Like a early pull without gas. Like not Zergling speed, but if you just have lings or even a drone rush. Meanwhile, Reynor did not go pull first. He went hatch first. So this, I believe, just works out for Reynor. Like, it's not a huge lead, but SOS is actually playing the last couple games, whereas Reynor is kind of back to the standard playbook here. Though, who knows what would have happened if a probe came across the map. You know, no plan survives contact with a probe, apparently. Though, I'm still not sure. Game 2 with the 12 pull was definitely more intentional. Game 1, that felt like a spontaneous move, but not a uncharted one. Well, spawning pool is on the way. The probe will scout that. Indeed, Reynor looking for at least 2 bases this game, and both on his side of the map, to be clear. And the probe need to clarify that as well. And we're gonna have something. Gotta readjust, recalibrate for the kind of generic first 4 minutes of Zerg versus Protoss that, in most matchups, with most players, nope, never mind. That's a forge. I was gonna say, like, it's pretty figured out. We got the Stargate versus a handful of lings. Take the 3rd base, blink and +1. Nope, still going forge. Probably less cannon-oriented and more upgrade-focused, but there's always a dream. A sentry first, which hallucinated... We hallucinated an oracle. I would love that. I think it could work. Can sell him on the idea of an early oracle. +1 armor, which is one of the top 3 choices usually for those early upgrades. So weapon upgrades are usually preferred for Protoss because weapon upgrades scale with the amount of damage per attack. So like a Zergling only gets +1, a Marine +1, but a Zealot I believe gets +2 and attacks twice. Like a Tempest gets like +5 per attack upgrade. Just for... Hero designed this wall. Are you sure you're allowed to use that one, SOS? It's got 2... It's not really a wall so much as a... Well, it's just not. Okay, so he hallucinates an oracle, and then the Zergling... He hallucinates an oracle to try to bamboozle, and he waited until about the time an oracle comes out, right before 4 minutes. Hallucinates the oracle, and then immediately, upon seeing he doesn't have a wall, fails to rectify that, and lets the Zergling in, which then scouts the hallucinated oracle, and then, eventually, finds his way to walling off. So, yeah, that's where we are now. And he's just gonna have +1 armor for adepts, which is... Why? It's like, well, Heroes really kind of cornered the market on being wild and crazy. So, we're really gonna have to try hard to outstrip him here. Which... Sure, I mean... So here's the thing about armor upgrades, is they don't apply to shields. Shields, by default, do not have any armor. So armor reduces damage by the amount. So usually 0 or 1 baseline. Now it's going to be +1. But only once the shields are down does armor apply. That's another reason. Usually weapon upgrades are the focus. So But +1 armor first into now charge. Now he's going to hallucinate a warp prism. At this point, he's just going to completely... This entire game is just being played in SOS's mind. He's hallucinated 2/3 of the tech tree so far. And the other third he's trying to work on. I can't believe he didn't just run in with his... Well, I guess he could just attack and maybe win. Yeah. Well, if you go every single direction, you don't get anywhere very fast. So Reynor just kind of wins the game. And that's how it ends. That's the whole thing. You might be like, but there's still so much left in this video. Ah. That means you've encountered the anti-spoiler game. And you're like, well, what's the difference between SOS and Hero? Well, have I got the game for you? Is it SOS versus Hero? Yes. Yes, it is. Reynor just kind of wins, because SOS never figured out what his build was before Reynor just walked over with a bunch of roaches. Almost everything that could go... And also, don't worry, we're prepared. Jimmy, once again, nobody can... Why does it keep Get off the phone! I don't care what their mother wants. Business hours. We don't have that kind of relationship. No, you're not an employee. Don't be ridiculous. Anyways, so... in the bottom left, the smiling assassin, the mad king of Protoss. In the blue, it's Hero. And in the top right, we have SOS. Arguably well, Hero's played for almost, if not as long as SOS. SOS finding a lot more success. I do feel like SOS is still at the level that was his highest. That doesn't mean relatively. It means when he was strongest, up through like 2017, maybe 2018, he was so dangerous because of these almost random but incredibly deadly styles. But unfortunately, I don't think he's quite graduated past that point. And we still see that today. We still see that. What if I went... Let me get out my Luigi board. Let me check here. All right, I wrote it down somewhere. What if we went to like and subscribe? Shoehorn that one in. Nailed it. But +1 armor into charge eventually into not having anything and dying. So also demonstrating why the Oracle is such a staple of actually building in Protoss versus Zerg. Because with an Oracle, not only can you scout, you can kill pretty much any Zerg unit that isn't a queen. And queens aren't known... Why is there a pro... Anyways, so moving on to this clown fiesta. This dogs playing poker sort of mental health crisis that is Protoss versus Protoss. This bonanza of baffling and bamboozling builds. We have a probe successfully leading a sentry on a wild sentry chase for long enough to maybe let 2 stalkers walk all the way across the map. SOS has gone for an early Nexus. He has exactly 1 sentry. He's about to have a stalker with it. With a shield battery, that should be enough. But, yeah, the shield battery should make the difference here. I mean, Hero has a proxy pylon, but he's not all in. But he's not all out either. Just the tip of aggression here. We'll see if he goes any further than that. Meanwhile, the stalkers, force field. There is an energy recharge, I do believe, and he can use it on the shield battery. He does. Reslurps. Sentry's on its way across the map. He's actually warping in. Now, an Oracle in production for SOS. He has 2 shield batteries, but he still only has 1 gate, and his warp gate was significantly later. So that puts him in an awkward spot. The Adepts will shade towards the main, but the probe is there to put down something resembling a wall, which is the best Protoss can do. Wow, he just ignores because Stalker's damage is so sad against Adepts. Here comes the rest of the army. Gonna go for the shield batteries. He locks, that force field, the emotional support fields on both sides, as neither of them is quite adept, puns intended, at creating any sort of wall off, whether it's metaphysical or more literal. Meanwhile, there's an Oracle coming into Hero's base, and unfortunately, he's also building an Oracle, which is not known for its anti-air capabilities. Hero recalls his Stalkers while his own Oracle goes out, oh, nope, that was a misclick. He misclicked all his probes with a control click, but thankfully, he knocked the Oracle out of this. He killed the Oracle, all right? Anyways, the Oracles gonna see one another. SOS figuring out that indeed a Phoenix is probably a good choice against an Oracle. Now, Oracles, this is true, have the same vision range as an Oracle, so that means they did see each other, assuming either of them know what the mini-map is. Which, I'm not willing to make any particularly strong assumptions when these two are concerned. And speaking of concern, these two. Twilight Council on the way. For both. Where's it gonna go? We've got Hero doing his typical synchronized shuffling with his units in the main base. He loves his unbelievably disjointed patrol pathing. Hero has now sacrificed 2 more Adepts on the altar of why not. Nihilist Protoss is so, nowadays. And here comes an Oracle, which will also kill 1 probe and then die. So not exactly the most efficient. Well, okay, he's gonna try to save it. He does. Revelation, yep, those are Stalkers. I mean, keeping tabs on it is good. They're both going blink. Hero will have blink quicker. Somehow SOS has ended up with more supply, though Hero not mining for quite a while and losing several probes to the Oracle. It definitely didn't help. It's 3 gates against 3 gates. Well, I'm not counting the Stargate in this one, but that's kind of implied as well, on top of it. Only way Stargate units work. Hallucinated Phoenix scouting. Regular Oracle sliding in. And, oh, the Oracle gets in again seconds before the shield battery. You're going to pick up 3 more probe kills. Meanwhile, well, there's a Forge on the way. And going to slap down some gates. The probe has to go all the way around to get the other gate because he kind of walled it in there. Meanwhile, the Oracle gets away before the Stalkers can stalk it. And despite the brouhaha of an early game, it appears we're going to even out. Both sides getting 3 bases. Both sides with... Well, did Hero add on gates yet? No, he didn't. Both sides working on upgrades. Both sides with blink. Well, SOS is going to be there in a moment. Though SOS will have the advantage in production timing. And he'll also have another probe or 2. But will that matter? The Hero hallucinates some Stalkers. Not even sure that was entirely intentional. As the hallucinated Stalkers usually would go at the front, but, you know. And they're actually getting in the way of some of his other... There's a stasis! SOS blinks right onto it, which is about the worst case scenario. Which gives Hero another opportunity to blink in. Lifts up one of the Stalkers, gonna knock down that. And the Oracle's also here. The stasis is running out, but Hero's managed to shave away a chunk of the army because SOS just gave it up to the stasis. The hallucinated Stalkers will live a full and healthy life before dying of old age. There's a Phoenix here, and Hero, well, wow. Wow. It looked kind of close. And then we bring up the battle report. We see Hero destroyed 9 Stalkers to 6, and 4 Zealots, a probe, and a Phoenix to none of the above. SOS boldly trying to take a 4th base despite the losses. Oracle gets back in. 8 kills thus far, only 1 Stalker to warp it in. Hero's only on 5 gates. He's slowly adding on more, which should help SOS catch up somewhat in the supply. And he's going for charge as well. Hero will also have charge and +1, but they're a much longer way off. So SOS will have the upgrades, and he's had the production, which means he's actually jumped back into the supply lead, at least for now. All right. 125. Hero also got a bunch of his stalkers caught in a stasis, which is just nice of him as well. Though, is this bait? Or is he just giving away his star? Oh my. Well, this was the most predictable situation. He left not enough to deal with it, so the other stalkers come in to save the day. Guardian Shield, optimistic, blunks forward. Well, charge is done for SOS, which is pretty important here. The Guardian Shield helping out. The Sentry somehow will survive this engagement, which I don't think anyone expected. Hero actually has a 4th base done. I guess SOS is finishing it up now. And again, like two inexperienced lovers, they embrace one another. They charge into action and then realize they're not sure why they were here in the first place. And blink a bunch of times and hopefully survive the encounter. Can be rough. +2 ground weapons about to complete as SOS goes between a rock and a hard place and manages to maneuver his army into position. Meanwhile, some charge thoughts in the natural. The cannon will likely get taken down. Hero just stagger blinking his way back. The probes! The probes are pulled and actually deal with the charge thought run by. On the other side, similar actions, but enough zealots warped in. He recharges the shield battery. The cannon not so effective against this. Another warp it on the way. Hero is going for +1 armor after +1 attack, joining his fellow Protoss, and making me even more confused because the attack upgrades for these army compositions are so clearly better. But I guess you have a lot of charge lots, which have 100 armor and 50 shields, but no, still, no. It's a little cheaper, but now might not be the time to be skimping on upgrades. Well, as we continue to meander around a decisive engagement, like a full season of The Bachelor here, and they're just, all right, one this way, one that way, off we go. Heroes going north, SOS going south. Recall is off cooldown for both sides, but who will take the plunge first? Hero is on the he's gonna kill the 3rd Nexus, but there's a stasis right there, and I don't think he notices it. The probe's on the run. Hero's going for the full base trade. That stasis catches 4 stalkers, could have been much worse. Hero, instead of trying to figure out a way to deal with the army, he's gonna try to figure out a way to kill SOS faster. A full-throated base trade, an impressive task for a race without any mouths. And the probes on the run for both sides, being slaughtered by the dozen. SOS will be down to 2 bases, as will Hero momentarily. A few cannons in production back at home. There's still the recall potentially to the main, and yeah, as the prophecy foretold, no matter what, the entire game will be played on 1 base. The Zealots are inside the main, but there's a couple Archons with a shield battery, and that's enough to turn it around. Meanwhile, SOS is battering down the door, and the natural should be torn asunder. Hero will be driven out of the main. SOS will be forcing, well, there's nothing left. They're both supply blocked. Hero will recall as much as he can fit in the recall. Unfortunately, it's not his entire army, but it might be enough. And the army supplies are in favor of SOS, who also has better upgrades. It's +3 versus 1-1, because for some reason, of course it is. There is also, did that Oracle survive? There's no way. He built another one, right? This Oracle is 9 kills. That's the same Oracle. Wow. Meanwhile, some more Zealots as SOS tries to re-expand. Unfortunately, Hero's right there, and somehow we're dueling with Blink Stalkers on the main base ramp. The Zealots are coming in towards the main. SOS is hard supply blocked. He cannot warp in. And he also has not chosen to recall. Does he come home? Wait, did Hero just run by this base without noticing? He wasn't on attack move. Gets chased down. The Blinkstalkers could get out of the base. Hero could warp in a single... Well, I guess a sentry wouldn't work because Archons can just bust down the force fields. And, well, okay. So, here we are. So desperate to avoid one another that they're both stuck on, like, 3 mineral patches. Except SOS's army is just way better. Like, way better. Unless Hero can navigate his way around, he picks off an Archon, but he's gonna lose a lot of Zealots. And he has less Stalkers, so there's really no winning. He's gonna expand. It's not good. Most of the production as well. The Zealots. There's no Dark Shrine. There's no, yeah, that SOS just has way more stuff. And better upgrades. Assuming you value the weapon upgrades higher than armor. In which case, it's still true, even if the reverse is your preference. And you're also wrong. Sorry, Hero. Uh-huh. Well, okay, now we're taking a second base here at the 15-minute mark. Typical timing at 138 over 127 supply, and there it is. The Shrine to Dark. The Zealot will spot this. There's, well, again, the numbers are close enough that, like, a stasis or even just a bad angle could turn the tide. SOS definitely has the better army. He has more probes. But that's never stopped him from making a game-ending mistake before. As he expands to some curious locations. It makes sense if you think about how nothing makes sense in this matchup. So there are two options here. One, Hero just dies. Might take a minute, might take 5, but that is the most likely option. Option 2, we'll do it again! And if Hero was the one with the Dark Shrine, I'd say, well, maybe. But SOS will realize the Oracle. I think Hero's starting to realize he does not have the army advantage as the death balls kind of roll around. He's going to try to pick a fight. Whose stasis is this? Honestly, I do not know. I assume, yes, okay. Well, oh, well, oh no. We still had 10 more minutes in this movie. Gotta have a stare down and maybe a flashback to how we got here. Cut to one of those slapping competitions. Well, Hero will try to extract his units from this cluster fight. And the Dark Templar will cut into the probes. Hero. He's going to go forward because there's no going back. But he has no detection either, so just a heads-up fight. The Guardian Shield, more Archons, more upgrades. And I think math will prevail here, just barely, as Hero is outmaneuvered. And SOS. Call an ambulance. But not for me! As we meander our way to the end of the game. 18 minutes of intellectual curiosity. And, peak Protoss. The #1 Protoss in the world versus a multi-Protoss world champion. Hero's never won it, at least not officially. Well, hopefully you enjoyed. And we've got a lot more lined up this week. So, and you made it to the end, so through a Protoss versus Protoss. I know it was a great one, but we're going to have some different formats this week. With the GSL is back, but in Team League format. Team Hero versus Team Maru. They pick their favorite players from the GSL players and had a team league, which included them. So we're going to be showing some of that. And then Pigs Festival number 7, which many of you may have already seen some of the highlights, but, you know, I like to think I bring something a little bit different, maybe a little bit, not going to say better. I'm going to say different. And hopefully you enjoy. And also, Wardy has a team league, which is a combination. So the Team Hero versus Team Maru is 1v1s, like Pro League and all-kill format, where you have different players, but it's still 1v1. And then Wardy's team league is a combination of 1v1 and 2v2. And then there's Thermal's team league, which is just team games. So, do you like having teammates? Or do you at least like feeling like part of something? Or do you like and subscribe? Thank you for watching. If you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon. We already did the whole spiel. I truly enjoy bringing good games, and I hope you do as well. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Make sure to check out this video Jimmy picked out just for you. Or don't. You kind of mean. Stay chill. I know it was weird. I'll work on it.